Beastmilk. How you doing, sir?
Very good, thanks.
This is going to be awesome right now because I've just said to you just before we started recording, your album, Climax, last year was my album of the year. And it came out quite late in the year, and there was a lot of competition, but as soon as I heard it, I fell in love with it. I was a big fan of your EP before that, and one of these bands where I'd never really heard anything about you, and you just seemed to, there's something about the sound that resonated with me, and then I was like, what are they going to do after this EP? Are they going to do anything? Because there's been quite a lot of gap of time in between releases before that. So the fact that you had an album coming out and I knew nothing about it, and I heard that I loved it. So the first question I have to ask you is, during the UK just now, you were over in the UK earlier on, but this is the first time you played Scotland?
That's right, yeah.
Quite excited for tonight?
Yeah, very. So nice walking around the city and taking it in, you know. I really like to go, we don't really get to see that much when we travel, you know. When you're doing a tour, you really just see the venue, so we always like to escape the venue and go somewhere and have a drink, somewhere, you know, find a pub that feels local, so you get a vibe of what's going on, walk around and see the buildings in the city, I mean, just to soak in some of where you are before you go and play to the crowd, so you understand, you know, where they're coming from, a little bit about the city. It just feels like the least you can do, you know, like to go and see the place a bit. So, yeah, it's really exciting for us to be able to come somewhere this far away for us, you know, to make it. And there's going to be, I don't know how many people are going to be there, but it's, you know, people come and watch you. It's really, it's an honour.
And the Finland music scene in general just now is absolutely buzzing. I mean, there's so many bands coming out, and I think the thing about it is it's such a diverse musical scene for such a small country. You know, like you look at the UK, for example, great heavy bands, great rock bands. There's bands doing well. I'm wearing the right side, right? So a soundtrack band that could play on the same stage as a band like you, for example, who have a lot of kind of 80s influences in your sound. I mean, is that something is that something that you've grown up on, that you've brought into music?
Yeah, and it's a mix of like what I grew up on, where I come from, and then what happened in Finland during the 80s as well, because there was a massive explosion there of bands that you know, kind of underrated gems, you know, that Spark Records re-released stuff like Nolla and Radio Bohemians, and these bands that were there doing quite edgy music for that time, and they still run as like really great classic records. So we kind of got a bit of the influence from that, from the Finnish scene in the 80s, and then also the fact that I grew up in Britain, you know, and in that time, really kind of, it's like subconscious influences. Like everything I do has some of that sound in it, simply because of what I grew up with. It was in my head at the time, so it's kind of like in my DNA. I don't really think about it when I set out to do music. So yeah, we were very influenced by that. And like the Finnish scene is just so strong that it's, I think statistically there's more bands per square mile than anywhere else in the world.
That's crazy.
Because it's just, you know, so few people, but they're all very active. So most people have 2 or 3 bands that they do, and they're all different styles. So it's very common that there'll be a guy who plays in a metal band that also has his jazz side, and it's just very, like, they're very open-minded. And so coming from there, we're very privileged to come from that scene, that we, you know, you're sort of informed by that. So you get a lot of, you know, influences outside just music. The fact that you've got this kind of supportive scene network around you that allows you to be able to do music.
And like you said, you're on Spark Records, and they themselves have a fairly diverse roster as well. I do quite a lot of the reviews that come in from Spark, and it blows my mind that you've been listening to 70s kind of prog rock on one release, and then the next thing is the most heavy, brutally crushing doom band you've ever heard in your entire life. I mean, how are they as a record label? And obviously you can't say anything bad because you're on the record label.
No,
but are they? I mean, they seem quite active and kind of seeking out kind of diverse sounds. Is that something that you?
Yeah, well, I mean, those guys are they're total music addicts. They're totally obsessed by it. So they both collect vinyls, Tommy and Jarko, and they both have a very good collection, but a very concise collection. So it's not, you know, they're not just buying whatever reissues coming out. These guys really know their classics and their gems, and also the editions and things like that. So they're very careful about how the record sounds and how it's put together and packaged to make sure that it's top notch. Because one thing that they really hated was all these reissue labels coming along that were putting out stuff that were doing a terrible job with it. You know, and it's really really sad because that's the opportunity to put that record out in a good way is gone. So they really started with that they would reissue records, but like the best quality that they could, and then they move on to doing their own music. But then they're really careful about what bands they pick, that it's really good, kind of interesting, top quality in whatever genre it's in. Yeah. So I love that. Yeah, like you said, you can go and you can check out a really good folk band, and then the other hand, you've got some really crushing death metal band. It's very they're just really open-minded guys. They're very like it's kind of a good little microcosm of what the Finnish scene is like. There's a lot of guys like Tommy and the Art who are just very, very passionate about music. And I think it's just the way that they are as people. They're very sort of open-minded, but at the same time like obsessive about music. Yeah, they're a very good label to work with. They're very good to us. They've allowed us to really do what we want. They just like let the musicians, free to do what they like. They enable them to do that, and they've never at any point said no. It's a great label that always says yes. That always says, okay, we'll do it. We have a crazy idea. We want to go and give out like free promos at this festival the day before we play to make people come and see our show. Great, fine. We'll produce them, send them over. Let's do it. Whatever marketing idea it is, we had the limited edition pack with the printed eyelets on the gas mask and things like that. They love it. I think that's what really inspires them. And actually, a little side note. There was a guy showing Cologne last time we toured with Doom Riders, and he was wearing it in the audience. And it was the most packed, most hot show I've ever played at. And I was dying. I mean, the sweat was going into my eyes. They were stinging. I just seeing this guy like headbanging with a gas mask on, but the whole show he didn't take it off. And I went on, patted him on the head, and he was like, I'm gonna wear this the whole gig. I don't care.
Almost brought me to see it to get signed. I was saying that in the car. I was like, I don't know what band etiquette is. I don't know if I bring the gas mask because I'm a bit stalkery. So I didn't. But so like you guys, like the album came out, like I said, at the end of last year. Been out doing some shows and stuff like that. Is it a case that you're just going to continue gigging into next year for a while before you think about the next album? Or?
No, we've got now after this week we go and play a couple of Greek dates, one in Thessaloniki, one in Athens, and then we come back and shortly after that we'll do a Finnish headlining tour, maybe our first headline tour in Finland. So and we're playing bigger venues and stuff like that. So that's a really important thing for us because I think we always want to win at home. We want to make sure that we have a good home crowd and people are enjoying it. So then I think it's just about taking stock and looking at some new material for next year. I don't think there's going to be any major tours now until we get a new album out. But you never know. I mean, if something good comes along that fits, if Glenn Danzig called us up and said they wanted us to support, then we'll probably go for it. I don't think we're going to be doing a tour like this, until we've got new material to show. So we've been over in the UK now, and it's in London with this fight all the time this year. And you don't want to just stretch it by playing the same songs again.
I think that was the thing that I said last year when I interviewed Kvohst people for Skype, and what I said to him at the time was that I got the feeling when I heard your album and I reviewed it, I was like, people need to hear this album, but I don't know how they're going to hear this album, and when people start to hear this album, this band are going to explode. And noticing just like some of the publications that have been releasing, Hammer's a good example of that, who are kind of like, Beastmilk's are really fucking good. You should be listening to these guys. So, I mean, is that something you are aware of, or is it very much concentrate on the band?
Well, I think we're aware of it, but I mean, the thing about Buzz and the thing about the journalists and the magazines and stuff is that sometimes it's not reflecting what's really going on.
Yes.
So, the fact is the magazines have been talking a lot, and we get backlash then on Twitter and places where people are like, I'm sick of hearing about this band, because it's like we have a very die-hard underground fan base, but I'm hoping that what the buzz leads to is that they will allow the next album to get a lot of people listening to it. Sometimes people wait, I've heard a lot about this band, I'm going to see what happens, like maybe I'll get the next one or whatever, pass me by, I'll check it out next time, or because they've heard the name and they see it in the record store, I'll give that one a go, I'll listen to the stream. So I don't know, it might be a little bit like Ride the Lightning with Metallica, that we come on with a very good second album that allows the first album to shine in its own way. People look back at it retrospectively and grab the first one and anticipate it. It could be that it's a lot of pressure because, you know, how do you follow it up? For a long time we sort of thought, why don't we just do the one and leave it at that? But I think it would be a shame because...
Don't ever do that.
It would be a shame because, you know, we've got so much support from people that it would almost be a, you know, a finger in the face. We're really happy that people have like taken to it. It's been really surprising, but it's been very, you know, heartwarming to know that people really, it gave them something. People coming up, they say it really helped me or like changed my life and stuff. And like, wow, you know, I mean, I'm a real music nerd. I'm a big fan of other bands, so I know what that's like when you touch and you have to tell the band how it feels. So that's been a big impact on us. It's not like you want to do things just for what other people want, but you do pay that in mind that there is you know, the love that people have for you, and you want to make sure those people are happy.
Oh, that's awesome. So we've kind of covered like a lot of your influences, we've covered the tours, we've covered like future things. Speed told me in my interview about the way that the album came around in terms of the producer basically hearing your EP and saying you're going to record these guys.
Yeah.
And I think he really makes your sound shine. When you go to record your next one, will you be going back to it or will you be...
I don't know, the decision hasn't really been made, but I think that it's all about the album because I think what we had was a chance to do something kind of different, and we were all about contradictions, so it's sort of, you know, we take a guy who's very good at doing this very nicely produced metal records, classic metal records, really good Bell Attack and bands like this that while we might not necessarily listen to, we really admire the production and what he's done with those bands. So we wanted to take someone like that to do a record that he's not used to doing, and us, the producer, we wouldn't usually choose, you know, like it was like, oh, that's kind of interesting, like us working with him, that's weird, you know, like, it wouldn't have been anyone's first choice, but as soon as they heard it, they were like, now we know what you wanted to do. We wanted to get a guy to like take it from a different angle, because had we gone to someone who's used to doing those kind of records or kind of pop sensible producer, we might have ended up with something that was a bit too polished or a bit too you know, pop without any of the grit and the grain that we like, the underground feel, the vibe. We wanted to have a vibe, a bit of sparks. I think that was a good choice for us to go with that album, but we'll see when the next one is written if it's going to be right for Kurt, if he likes it or not. And I think that was the main thing, so like we had to get him to listen to it so that he would tell us what he liked. We wanted to make sure that he wanted to. And I think he said it was his favourite album to work on last year. You know, he works on a lot of albums a year, so that meant a lot. I think it's one of the albums for him that was a good experience. So that's a nice thing. It would be a shame if we just keep going back to the same guy just because that's it. You know, we're not a band like that. We always try to do something different with each release.
It's about growth as well as...
Yeah. And it could be nice to show a different side of the band, because a lot of people think, okay, that's Beastmilk, because they've seen it like a painting of one wall in an apartment. You think the whole apartment's like that. It's sort of like opening it up and then people are like, oh really? You know, that's like, gives another context to what we did on the first album. I don't like to repeat things because I think it destroys some of what we did, you know, in the beginning. And then sort of like, you don't do it justice. So I think with the next one we'll try and maybe show another side to the band. Gives it a bit more.
So this website that we work for, it primarily does music of the alternative in the nature, but we also do stuff to do with movies as well, and it's a question we always like to ask at the end. We always like to spring on people when they're not here. I mean, do you get a chance to watch many movies, and if you do, is there something you've seen recently you really liked or disliked?
I just watched the John Rowski's Dune. I really liked that.
Do you not think at the end of that I wanted to see that movie?
I really did, but I think the point of the documentary was like you have seen it. You know, you've seen as much of it as there would ever be. But it was very nice because it really talked to that place in me that's feeling about how you approach art and how you do things. You know, that you have to have grand ideas and you should never sell yourself short. You know, if you want this guy to do your acting in your movie, you've got to go for it. You know, it's not like no sell for second best. You know, if we want to have a certain producer or whatever we're going to do, we're just going to do it. And I think we've already been like that. It was the first time I saw a movie and I thought, oh, that fucking not crazy. It's like I'm not the only one that really just like when I have an idea, I'm like I'm not going to settle for anything less. We're going to fucking do this. You know, and that's it. So it's really great to see that. I was quite inspired. I think think Tarkovsky's Stalker is a movie like we keep returning to, and we were in somewhere in Germany. It played this place in Germany, and it was like so desolate and deserted. Leipzig, where the venue is, and they had like an old dilapidated tram station just next to the venue that's all cordoned off, and we went in there and it was just like being in the zone in the Stalker. I think that's a nice movie to watch on tour as well, because it's very reflective. You get to a kind of a weird place mentally and physically on tour where you're quite tired, you're quite emotional, you're drained, but you're also a bit lonely, you know, because you're missing your girlfriend, your wife, or something. And it's like it's very nice to watch a movie if it's a reflective movie like Tarkovsky is, because it really just like hits like, you know, home. It's like, oh my god, it's just touching all the buttons. It's like so fucking you know, extreme. When you're watching it at home, when you're maybe not concentrating so much. Watch a lot of movies on tour. I brought a big stack of DVDs. We like passing movies around the house. We're thinking about Widnail and I when we were coming up here.
Oh yeah.
Because you know, it's just like it's this thing. Like wherever I am in Britain, I get this Widnail and I think the weather is just the people and they're going to the pubs and stuff. And the scenes from Widnail.
That's excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time, Kvohst. And you guys need to be buying Climax now. Get it from Smart Records. Thank you.